Station number 4, evaluating functions by looking at a table of values. For this station, you're going to be examining 2 different tables of values and answering a series of questions about them. For this station, as you're answering the questions, we want you to be thinking about these 2 questions. When examining a table of values, which is part of my domain and which is part of my range? And then lastly, how do I determine if a table of values is a function? So, look at the table of values below and answer the questions that follow. If I look, the first question says, is this a function, and explain. Well, we know that when we look at a function, we only want to look at our x values. So if we look at our x values, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Notice none of them repeated, so yes, this is a function. So we can say no x values repeat. B says determine the domain. Well, we know our domain is our x values. So if we look right here, our x values are right here. So they are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So our domain is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Our range, we know, is our y values. So let's look to see our range. Our range is 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Notice, it's really just 0 and 1 because they're repeating a few times. So we don't have to write 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. We can just write 0 and 1. D says determine the value of f of 5. So if I look, this is an x value. So I want to find out what happens when x is equal to 5. So if I look, when x is 5, I get 1. So I can say f of 5 is equal to 1. E says, for what values of x does f of x equal 0? So if I think about this, this is a fancy way of saying, when is y equal to 0? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my y values and look to see where they're 0, and they're right here. So if I go backwards, I get 1 and a 2. So I can say x equals 1 and x equals 2. And that's my final answer.